Alright, so today I want to talk about FOMO, or the fear of missing out, and how it applies to furries. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is exactly what it entails. Feeling fear or sadness for missing out on whatever event that is happening in the present time. For a lot of you guys right now, or at least at the time of me recording this, it would probably be Anthrocon, for those that want to go to Anthrocon or wanted to go this weekend and aren't there right now. Myself included. I haven't been to Anthrocon since like 2019, before COVID, and let me tell you, pretty good time back then. But in all seriousness, in the past few years, my feeling of FOMO has kind of narrowed down a little bit. Like, yeah, I feel it. I wish I could be at Anthrocon right now. But a lot more, I feel like, mature about my feelings of wanting to go versus like the reality of it, where like finances really are not doing great and I can't really afford to go to another convention and I gotta take care of myself first and foremost, with the other thing in mind. I'm a little socially burnt out from the past few weekends of traveling, going from place to place, going from party to hangout, and I want to have one weekend where I can relax. So for me, I'd kind of rather prefer to stay at home and just like get some work done, maybe watch some movies, catch up on Frieren because I've been watching that, which that is really cute, but god, the existential crises is just, it's a lot. But FOMO is a thing that I think everyone, or I know everyone, has probably experienced. You have some event, some big thing that you're excited to go to or want to go to, but you're not feasibly able to because of finances, time didn't work out, schedule just didn't work out, or there's some other reason that you just couldn't go. But everyone is currently there, having a good time, where you're seeing pictures of it online, and so you're experiencing at least the aftermath of FOMO. I feel like furries get FOMO constantly whenever there is a big convention happening, whether it's Anthrocon, Furry Week in Atlanta, Midwest Fur Fest, pretty much the big three there, or any of these other smaller, medium-sized cons that people really want to go to. More often than not, you're gonna have some furries who have FOMO, or at least are sad that they're not able to attend this con. And so seeing friends online having a good time on social media, or seeing the pics that are going around, or knowing that this event is going on, constantly being reminded of it, only fuels the FOMO. And this is something that I've gotten a lot better at feeling in the past few years. Like, I remember with FOMO, it drove my, like, drive to go to furry conventions. It got to a point where one year I did 10 furry conventions. I think this was in, like, 2019 or so. It was crazy to even do in the first place, and I was socially just burnt out, which is an understatement in and of itself. I was so socially exhausted after all these cons, and financially exhausted. I mean, that wasn't a cheap time going to all these different cons, but there was a point where I was worried about missing out on like Anthrocon, on like BLFC, and then, oh hey, Anthro Ohio is happening after that. Oh hey, my friends are going there. Let me book a flight there and do the con gauntlet. The con gauntlet is not necessarily as fun as you think it might be, especially if you're an introvert. Oh wait, yeah, I'm an introvert. I forgot about that. That's also fueled a lot of the FOMO that I've had for going to cons. Like, my social battery has also made me feel like I'm missing out on whatever social experiences it could be, because I got to take care of my own, battery. My own social levels are different than others. I'm not a social butterfly as much as it might seem like I am. By Sunday at a con, if I go there Wednesday, I'm socially tapped out. And that's happened many a times at cons. Even recently at FWA, when I went from like Wednesday to Monday, by Sunday, I was so socially exhausted. I put my friend in my fursuit, had him go around as me, and I just stood there. I looked dead to the world in every single picture that someone took with me. And I feel a little bit bad, because if people were getting to talk to me for the first time, it wasn't the best experience they were probably getting of me, but it's just like, I didn't realize how socially exhausted I was. I was just standing there like, hi, which is something I've been very cognizant of, and kind of realized that the driving factor that led me to be at that point come Sunday at FWA was FOMO. I didn't give myself the appropriate amount of time even at the con to decompress and relax, and so for me, FOMO was kind of a driving factor of even at the con wanting to experience everything I could within that time frame. And so I guess we're transitioning to another part of it. FOMO can also happen at furry conventions, even when you attend them, and you can burn out very quick, whether it's socially or energetically, or even just with conventions in general. You gotta pace yourself. There's such a thing as too much of a good thing too. I don't know what that applies to necessarily here, but it's just, remember to take care of yourself first and foremost. That's the big thing. Recognizing when FOMO is a factor in how you're either acting or feeling, that's a big step in trying to figure out how to like kind of mitigate it or go past it. For me, especially since FWA, I've kind of realized that, oh, I socially burn myself out whenever I go to like big social events, and I enjoy my time there, so I need to take like an off day after that to just kind of be to myself and take care of myself mentally and just have me, myself, and I time. Not to say that I hate people, I mean, I hate some people, but you know, in terms of socializing, I have a battery that I need to manage. I'm not the best at understanding when it's high or low, only when it's depleted necessarily, so it's just a matter of kind of understanding it in the moment. And that's a thing that I've really understood to better mitigate whenever I go to furry conventions, or even when I'm feeling like I want to go to a convention, but I understand, okay, my social battery really isn't that much there, I probably shouldn't do this. And that has gone for both cases when I've done the furry gauntlet, which is when you do one furry convention one weekend to another. For example, you have Further Confusion, FC one weekend, and the next weekend you have Anther New England. For me, I attended both one year, and I was so socially exhausted by A&E, I didn't feel like I had the best experience that I could have if I had only just gone to one versus the other. Same thing happened a few years back with BLFC and then Anther Ohio. I went from one to another in 2 weekends, and because of all that travel and overexhausting my body, not to say that this was the cause of it, but it was definitely one of the factors in me catching bronchitis and being out of commission for like 2 months in terms of video making, which was something I loved to do and I was really looking forward to when I come back. And then all of a sudden I can't stop coughing and my voice is shot for like a month, and I'm like, God damn it. But then again, you know, I had a choice in that matter. I chose to do these 2 conventions because I wanted to spend time with friends, wanted to hang out with them, and I did have a good time regardless. But I understand, you know, maybe it was probably better if I chose one convention versus both of them, or maybe I chose another one instead of trying to do all of these at once. I feel like that's something that needs to be a bit more understood with going to conventions nowadays. Just pick and choose the ones that you really have your heart set on. And also, don't knock smaller furry conventions, okay? I know everyone wants to go to like the big 3, Furry Week in Atlanta, AC, MFF, like those 3 and probably the other top cons everyone wants to go to, because you imagine the more people that are there, the more fun you're gonna have, which that isn't necessarily true. And that's what I've found with trying out these diamond in the rough cons that are just small, medium-sized cons that I've had just absolutely a blast at. And I want to make like a set part of my yearly convention, I guess, travel. Like, for example, I had given Megaplex a shot. I never tried that con up until this last year, and it is genuinely like my #1 favorite furry convention now, not just in terms of area and location and, you know, financial feasibility with being able to travel there, but in terms of just the experience that I had. It wasn't like super big FWA levels of a con, but it was still a pretty sizable event that I had an awesome time getting to spend with the friends that I did there. So with that in mind, I think it's safe to say that FOMO is a pretty common feeling. It's something that you can apply even outside of furry conventions. It's something that you can even apply when at a furry convention. And that has also resulted in me not really having the best time I really could have. But again, it's all just self-reflection at the end of the day and trying to do better and act better within the future of conventions and attending them. The main thing that I end up doing to stop any sort of FOMO is just I keep myself busy, or I just don't pay attention to social media. For me, even though I might have FOMO of AntherCon happening right now, I also preferred to go to and try a Woostria for the first time at the end of this month, which is going to be my first overseas non-US furry convention. It's going to be the first time I've also been overseas, so I'm a little terrified, but I'm really excited for that. Even years back, when FOMO was really strong for me and I just couldn't end up attending a convention, the one thing that I constantly reminded myself is that I am happy because my friends are happy. They're having a great time. They're not having a good time because I'm not there. They wish I was there, but they're having an awesome time, whether they're able to send me pics or not, and I'm happy that they're having the time of their lives at a convention that, even if I wish I couldn't go to, I'm happy that they are at. The weekend that Furality had happened, I had gotten registration, I was ready to attend, but I had so many other like obligations and things that I could do optionally, like IRL with friends, versus hop on Furality in VR and do kind of the same thing on VR. And truthfully with Furality, I didn't have the deep desire to even get into VR in the first place. Like, I just wasn't really feeling it, but Furality was happening. It was this like once in a year event with all these pretty things going on, and all these friends were going to these panels and events and like the raves and dances, and like I wish I was there. I wanted to go there, but the only reason I really wanted to go was because of FOMO. Like, I saw all my friends going and I wanted to be with them, but I just didn't want to be in VR. And so the decision that I ended up making was, well, I have all these alternatives for that weekend to be able to spend time with other friends and do the whole social thing outside of VR, so let's do that. On that Saturday, I ended up going to a friend's birthday dinner, and then I went bar hopping for the first time, and it was really fun. I had this banging rigatoni bolognese, and oh my god, you would not expect that to come from a bar, but it did, and it was awesome. That Sunday, I went out to dinner with my family, and I got to talk with my grandmother, and I got to really catch up with her when I haven't seen her in a bit. And so with looking forward to that in those events happening, it kind of completely killed whatever FOMO I was having for Furality. Like, yeah, I kind of wish I was still there, but I had these other things that I could do instead. Because think about it this way, if I went into VR when I really wasn't feeling it, I feel like I wouldn't have had the best time that I possibly could have versus going out and partying with friends or going to these other events too. So many things that I could do to occupy my time. But the main thing is distracting myself from even thinking about the convention or Anthrocon, which I get that might not necessarily be healthy in the long run for like facing the fears or facing the negative feelings and really understanding them. But that's more so, you know, best advice I can give for that is like journaling. That's something that I've done, you know, journaling, putting my feelings out there rather than, you know, let them stay in my head or spiral. Even just for a few examples, let's go over some of the replies that people left to me on how they end up dealing with FOMO for a con that they're not able to go to. Azel draws, which I love Azel, by the way. There are always more conventions. Can't do every single con, and wouldn't want to do it all anyway. I remind myself that we're also saving for big trips that aren't the same old conventions, and I try to provide space/distraction for folks who can't go on my streams. Those are some pretty good ways to mitigate it, understanding that there's some good times in the future to experience. You know, this Anthrocon that you're not at is probably not the last Anthrocon to happen, and there's always next year. That's the big thing. I know it's kind of sad to think about in terms of time, but you know, that is something to look forward to. Next year can always happen. I personally try to find other friends who also aren't going, and I do something with them. Play games, hang out, go get dinner with them. I also will use streaming and working as always to keep me focused on my normal schedule so it doesn't feel weird that I'm not at the con. Another alternative, just keep yourself distracted or see the friends that are around. I can almost guarantee not every single person in a specific like furry bubble or local furry community is gonna be at a con. Maybe it's an opportunity to meet new people too. You don't really know. I'm also looking at this kind of optimistically, you know, like not offset or ignore FOMO, but like, oh, there's some other cool alternative things that you can do as well. I could also clean my room. God forbid I do that as a content creator full-time. Being from a poor country, which basically makes everything expensive outside of it, has pretty much trained me to enjoy my friends' posts and hope for their best. Sometimes watching the show from the screen gives you the feeling of being somehow a part of it. I like that, sort of an optimistic approach to it. Also, hi Zai, hope you're doing well. Shout out to Zai, go and check out his videos. I'm pointing here as if maybe there's something here to indicate who Zai is that you can maybe click on, but don't click on that, that's just gonna pause the video. Look, just go and check out Zai. They're another furry YouTuber. They're good soup. They do good stuff. Honestly, I just try to distract myself and keep off of social media to avoid the FOMO. Literally, just the big thing, if you are susceptible to FOMO because you see a lot of people having a good time on social media, just stay off social media. I know social media has also been used with regards to the phrase, comparison is the thief of joy, which is very much true because we're so used to seeing kind of like a curated experience on social media, which is, you know, social media is good to some extent, but it also kind of puts things in a perspective of comparing ourselves to others where we're seeing others have a good time or having their own experiences and we compare that to our own, and then, you know, that just, it's not really good or healthy to do. VR chat and parties with local friends. That's another alternative that I forgot to mention. VR chat is also an option. I know there's also like the VR chat IRL portals at cons that happen frequently. So I might talk about that in a separate video, but I'm sure plenty of you already know that it exists as is. And for one final one, I deal with this by realizing there's always next year and the con is so big it isn't closing down anytime soon. Plus there's other small cons that you can attend too. Or your priorities are elsewhere and cons come second. And that just kind of is how it is. You know, what I've learned especially is that FOMO gets a lot easier to manage as the years go on, as you attend more conventions. It just gets easier to be able to realize, oh yeah, you know, if I was at Anthrocon or this con, I'd be having this experience. And, you know, it's not to say that it's predictable, but it's like, you know, there's always next year. There's always something new to try. Sometimes doing the same old con over and over again can get a little bit old. And it's not to say you shouldn't if you really want to, but just try to consider some other experiences to try out. Open yourself up to new opportunities, which is something that I've been doing and I'm really looking forward to at the end of this month, where I'll be going to Awustria, and it's going to be so fun. I'm going to get to do a maid cafe. I'm going to get to do a dance comp. I've never judged a dance comp before. I have a couple of panels and things I'm doing. It's just, I'm so excited, okay? That excitement is taking over my feeling of FOMO for Anthrocon or any other convention that has happened that I haven't been able to attend so far. So you know what? There's a good ending to this. But yeah, FOMO is just one of those things that'll be different from person to person. The experience or feeling or lack thereof FOMO really just kind of depends on how you look at it and how you handle it. From what I've experienced personally with FOMO, someone who has been very heavily influenced by FOMO in the past few years, it definitely gets a lot easier the more conventions you attend, or I guess the older you get. Focusing on those negative feelings of like, I wish I was there, I'm not there right now, is only taking away from the time that I could be spending now and having my own good time. It's not like, oh, this con's happening and I'm not there, I'm gonna have my own good time out of spite. You know, it's more so I'm in control of my own happiness and my experiences, and that's just kind of what I'm gonna be doing this weekend. Regardless of if I'm at Anthrocon or not, I'll probably hit up a friend to hang out or something, or I'll stream a little bit more, or I'll use this as an opportunity to catch up on work. Hence why this video is happening with absolutely no script. I hope I did a good job. Please like the video if you think I did a good job. Everyone handles it differently, but the best thing you can do is just kind of focus on your own happiness with it. If you'd like in the comments below, feel free to leave your own pointers or I guess advice on dealing with FOMO at furry conventions or towards furry conventions. But either way, that's pretty much been me rambling for an hour and a half now about FOMO. So on that note, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to let me know in the comments. I greatly appreciate all the love and support. You guys have been wonderful recently. Not to say that you haven't in general, but just the comments you've been sending me on my videos, it really means a lot. I guess as a promo, I have been streaming on YouTube more recently, so if you want to check out my live streams, I try to stream around like Monday, Wednesday, Friday or so at like 7 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're looking for any more advice with regards to FOMO, check out the link in the description to the tweet that I put if you're looking for people's individual replies, which plenty of people have given advice. Like, it hasn't even been like, what, 6 hours since I put the post out, and over 200 people have left replies and posts about FOMO and dealing with it at cons. So I hope I did a good job with this, and if I did, be sure to let me know. And also, if you want me to cover any other topics like this, let me know whatever topic you want me to cover in the comments below as well. But either way, that's about going to do it for me. Have a wonderful night, take care, life stay jacket, treat people like people. That means you, and that's about it, guys. See you later.